like you back, come on back in. So, also, I'm sorry, folks. I got cited right here. You guys watch out. What's it you? Or did you just get?
Running.
You checked it off? Thanks. Everybody please stand. Go ahead. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
please remain standing. We special and then silence for George Vance, who passed away in mid-December. He was a planning board member, he was a zoning board member, and he was a town supervisor. So once again, because there's more people involved in watching. If we could please recognize that. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Everybody have a chance to review the bills? Any questions?
I talked about, one is on the EFPR accounting service and that. They raised their rates and that. Can you tell me about how many hours they put in? I mean, we're up to 1706 a month for that. And I'd be curious to see how many hours actually goes in the town.
Should be, Leo be here shortly.
For the Association of Towns, our dues went up. And it's kind of cool. I looked into it. The dues went up because our revenue went up. They don't do it. You can see. Now. And I think it'll only be up $1 like next time.
We don't, they send that to us for our membership in the AOT. They tell us how much it is.
It's based on our revenue.
Therefore, Do I hear a motion to accept the bills?
I'm going to accept the bills.
Take the oath. George has a question, Nate.
Oh, and for the hourly rate for the EFTR accounting service, just how the monthly fee went up to 1706. I was just wondering, on average, if you could ask her how many hours our town they have committed to that amount.
Okay, we had a motion. Who seconded? Margaret seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Next, minutes.
I move to accept the minutes as written.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carrie, you're saying to accept both sets as written, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Opposed? So carried then. Okay, Hemlock Ridge, there's nothing's really happening there. We have sent a counter offer to the developer like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that. 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Anyways, supposedly there was a counter offer sent, and we have not heard anything back as of yet. Or at least that has been shared from that attorney. So nothing, like I said, nothing is moving on Hemlock Ridge at this time. Baird Solar Project, Adam Weingard. The Baird Solar Project, to refresh your memory banks, is a project up here on 98. Adam wrote, because I wrote to him requesting where we stand with it, what's going on for this coming year. And he said he checked with his team, and the latest schedule is showing site mobilization occurring February 15th, 23. Site mobilization is when the construction crews would begin showing up to the project site, taking deliveries, staging, etc. So that's all they've got at this time, is the staging will be occurring starting the 15th of February, right after Valentine. Okay? He said he will keep me up to date as things progress when the actual construction starts progressing on that project. Okay, Heritage Wind. Carrie, you said you wanted to talk about this.
Yep, I just wanted to give a quick update for the community, just to make sure that the Heritage Wind on December 23rd responded to the comments and questions from ORES in regards to their major modification application. And that's pretty much it. I don't know if, Bridget, if there's anything else that we should be sharing at this time. Okay.
Okay, then, moving on. New business. Mr. Miller, would you please so inform us what your intentions are at this time, so that as you walked in, you could tell we were already discussing it. Okay,
This is a cemented floor. You're in the block.
and it sits back on the back edge of your property. Distance from the house. As well as from the garage.
Do they have a basement?
Yes.
I guess, Sean, I have kind of just a like logistical question for you, or Bridget. So what is like so normally, the application would go through Shelley. Shelley would either provide a demolition permit, or if there was something that she didn't feel comfortable with, then it would come to the board to then make a decision that way, or what is the normal procedure for this type of thing?
You're right. You're correct. On that procedure.
Okay, so I guess, so like we should have an application that we would be looking at, and then like and saying like, okay, so if we are going to be overruling something, or, you know, going against the zoning, or going against like that, this is what we're looking at, these are the specifics that we're okaying, so that then if, you know, if this is something that the town board was considering doing, that we would have like, okay, in this situation, this is what we're approving and why. So that then it's not necessarily a, oh, well, they did it for once, and I'll, you know, we need kind of the specifics.
Well, so yeah, there's all my labs and. I guess the only thing that I would want is at least the resolution with whatever condition.
Is there a time frame that you're looking at? I mean, do we have time to reach out to see and look at the application? Go through any questions about that?
Explain why.
Should we have the application filled out first as per how he's gonna do it? And then we can approve an actual written. Especially it's gonna be taken down, roofing's gonna be taken down, this is gonna be buried, and we have actual something to go by. That way, if it ever happens again, no, we didn't allow them to bury everything, this is what we did. That way we physically have it. You got 3 months, we can do it at our next board meeting.
I'll think that you're, stay with them.
Listen.
You're gonna separate all the components, the metal, the.
metal rates.
So the wood is the only thing you want to bury and that will deteriorate.
Part 360 regulations release, and there are certain categories of leaves that can be. And then it can't be buried. I don't know offhand whether this fits that.
So my proposal would be if you just did a regular demolition now, that you could get started on. Get the scrap taken out, get the, down to where, what do you need to bury in that amount of time? Check into DEC, check into, what would be needed to put on or whatever, so if it is buried, it's gotta be said that it's there, so people know. Contractors. Yeah, and then, and if everything goes accordingly, okay, now you got the permission to bury it. If things come back that says that, then you got it. But
You don't need us for the demolition. That's Shelley that gives the permission to. It's not a partial demo, it's complete demo coming down. He's just separating it into piles. And what is being removed. Yes,
well, he isn't removing, I mean, he's removing the asphalt, he's removing the shingles, removing the metal, removing the reusable wood. And we're gonna have concrete rubble at the end. Well, I think that's what Carrie said, you know, then if we have the application, say, this is what we required, and boom. It's not that it's just a simple, oh, no, it's just there. Demolition without burial
and just,
at this time, so we can.
We read the applications, how he intends to do it, so we actually have the physical paperwork. Say A was done, B was done, C was done, well, good. If not, then we don't have any precedent that this ever happens. We actually have a paper trail.
And think, that's in the building that's loose.
not a lot, but there is some in.
And I guess our to take it down, there's like I would do that. Just make sure that. Stuff, and then working as a friend, next thing you know, like things are all.
No, you,
It's not a commercial value. There's no really. There's. I mean, that will be.
Gary, you got a question? I also got one here from 2019 where we allowed dealers to bury one up here in 98 too. So we have had precedence on it. Once again, it was removal of some of the materials. Okay, so do I hear, well, wait a minute, we don't need to move on this. That's all you, Shelley.
But we need to do our homework down the road.
Yes. So if, Mr. Miller, you get that application and the whole menu of items that what the steps are and get that into Shelley, then you can proceed with the demolition of the barn. Meanwhile, we will see about the burial of a portion of your barn, whatever is left over. And we'll see what the story is, and that's what we would act on, is the burial. If we find out you can bury it.
Burial, just have to, because or else we've got a pile of debris. Right?
Well, as long as everything.
Right. You know, I mean, I'm just thinking about future and other people, and I'm not saying we're gonna do, it, but I'm thinking about somebody else. You know, there are people that would do something. Okay, you're not gonna let me have this one. And then I stop because I've got a permit that's open. But then I got a pile of stuff there that I'm.
So-
It's a little difficult this time of the year too.
Very good question.
Control farms.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. Not asbestos, but.
Yeah.
I'm.
Yes. I've heard that too. I don't know if it's illegal or not, but I have heard that farmers can basically burn just about anything they want to. With the exception of.
Chicken. Did you have a comment?
I was just gonna say similar to like if we could just, if Mr. Miller would be open to saying like, okay, I'll, you know, either depending on how things go as far as the removal, but what was shared was already what I was thinking, so it's good.
We all set with that then? It's between you two right now. So he can proceed starting to get it down before he ends up losing his insurance. That's my biggest concern right now. I don't want that to happen to him. Okay? Very good then. Thank you, sir, for coming tonight. Okay, next part we talked about at our workshop earlier this month, and that was on the New York class. To let you know, I did speak with Kim DeFrank because I was given her name as someone that had been using this. She's used it for just a little over a year, the New York class, for investing county funds. She said that she was able to, in interest, collect $40,000 in interest in them for the county this past year. So, and it sounded like we're all pretty receptive to this. She also talked about another program. And she sent me some material. Oh, yeah. New York Muni Trust. MUNITRUST. 100% New York. She said that she had just filled out the paperwork on that and getting the accounts set up so that when one is running a little higher interest rate, she was going to be able to move funds from one to the other so that she can earn even higher interest or make sure she has the maximum interest possible between the two programs. I don't see playing games like that. Just one.
See how that-
Yes,
Went to one of my commercial bankers. Just mentioned that
New York class.
the New York class, his exact quote was, yes, they're killing.
good.
So
And just to let you know, with the CDs, I had Lee work up how much interest we collected in 22. We got one CD that's coming up here, that's the quarterly CD. But for 22 at this time, we only collected, for what, we don't have the funds that the county does. But we, through the CDs, collected $4,847.69. That's for the CDs, which was just about twice the interest rate than what we would have gotten through our regular accounts.
Sean, where does that show up in our budget or like in our, cause I didn't,
It doesn't, that's what's frustrating me. I had Lee go through all our statements that we get from, Five Star Bank, where our accounts are and where the CDs are. And, I had her, through those monthly statements that we got, add up how much we got from the CDs.
So that's what started the whole conversation, because in the revenues, interest and penalties, we had 4,500 budgeted. That was what was coming in. That's where that would show up, was interest and penalties.
Well, that's what we budgeted for. We're assuming that we would get that. Remember, when you're talking revenues, you
Right.
budget low.
But then the estimated was coming in, that was 45, so it's kind of close to what she's thinking.
Yep.
But that's where I said that seemed low.
That's based on the statements. Lee showed them to me and her math and everything else, and that's what we came up with, or she came up with, in going through the CDs, is 4847.
I think Gordon's saying, yeah, it
Yeah,
makes sense of what the numbers are.
Yeah.
And it could be.
And this-
It could be better.
it's gonna be higher than this 4847, because that does not take into consideration the interest we get off our regular accounts, where we keep the money we pay our bills from. So it will be higher than the 4847.
And it's a turn every month, so you will be getting interest that month.
Well, with New York class, it's daily. Versus with the CDs, you get it at the end of the period of the CDs.
Per class, we're able to access the money at any
At
time.
a time.
That's a big.
Definitely. Any concerns on this? Okay, then I have here, favorite things to read is a resolution, whereas New York State Municipal Law, Article 5G, Section 119-0, Section 119-0, why they repeat it? Empowers municipal corporations defined in Article 5G, Section 119-N to include school districts, boards of cooperative education services, counties, cities, towns, and villages and districts to enter into, amend, cancel, and terminate agreements for the performance among themselves or one for the other of their respective functions, powers, and duties on a cooperative and contract basis. Whereas the town of Barry wishes to invest portions of its available invested funds in cooperation with other corporations and or districts pursuant to New York Class Municipal Cooperative Agreement Amendment and restated as of March 28th, 2019, whereas the town of Barry wishes to satisfy the safety and liquidity needs of their funds. Now therefore it is hereby resolved as follows, that Sean Pogue, Town Supervisor of the Town of Barry, is hereby authorized to participate in the New York Class Program under the terms of New York Class Municipal Cooperation Agreement amended and restated as of March 28, 2019. Okay. Do I hear a motion? Well, that's the motion. Do I hear a second for it now? All in favor?
So you-
Yeah, I moved it. All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Okay, so carried. Good. Okay, next, moving on to the culvert or bridge. Culvert, okay. On Gillette Road. So the first thing we gotta do with that is the Part Two Impact Assessment, short-term seeker.
Sean, before we do that, is there any way, because can Dale just kind of share? I know I looked through and read what he sent out in the application and everything, but he said that he was going to share about. If he could just share about it first, so that everybody's on the same page, or everybody knows what we're talking about.
Replacing the bridge between Hill Road and Drake Island Road. It's a box culvert now, it's still considered a culvert, because it doesn't reach the parameters that the state set for width. Applying for a Bridge New York grant. Culverts are 100% to get the grant, it covers it all. If it was a bridge, 5%. And we don't know when the bridge was built.
the culvert.
Sorry. When the culvert was built, it's been added on width-wise, to widen the road. So it's following a concrete, steel bending. So hopefully, we did, apply for this same grant in 2018. Did not get it, so hopefully they'll give us some points for applying for.
How long did you before you hear anything? Was it quite a long time for date?
No, we worked out a schedule with Clark Patterson with, about the summer. So. They take it to, cause they have to look up, they're looking out throughout the whole state, once they get all the applications. They, highway superintendents that volunteer to assess all the culverts and bridges all over the state, so. I think they put the timeline together, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
I thought they had in there that the plan was to start in June of next year, 24.
Well, it could be, Terry, but I don't remember that.
Okay, just another quick question, when I was looking over the application, it looks like the application was for both, like, for both as a bridge and as a culvert, and it had it like budgeted wise broken down with both the 95% and the 100%, because I was thinking like, okay, well, if this is a bridge, that's something we need to budget for, that 5%. And I was looking at that, and that at the timeline, and it said it wouldn't be, like, we would start some of it this year, but most of it would be next year, like the actual construction.
I think if you read it closely, the notes.
Okay. Okay, I'll have to look back at that, because that may be something that,
I agree, I looked at that, Gary.
right. Yeah, I mean, I understand, like, I saw it, yeah, I'll look it over, I'll email you if I find the specifics, so that way.
Anything else?
So what we're doing is we're saying it does need to be replaced. Hopefully a secret, new secret. And the contingency that. Grant.
Yeah, we're looking at $700,000 project.
Yeah, they made a motion.
Any other questions? Okay, then. The part two. Number one, will the proposed action create a material conflict with the adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? Part two of short version.
And there is a letter, but I couldn't tell who it was from in the application that says it's a type 2.
Right, but the only part that needs.
Which we already did and Dale has signed.
Yeah.
Don't we have to classify it as a negative declaration? Okay, go for it, George.
I'll do that. I'll do that.
Okay, Margaret.
I heard Margaret say that she was fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, then, we still need to do a motion to give Dale permission to move forward with this and submit the application. So. Correct.
Second.
Dave and George. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay. Thank you. I didn't have to read all that stuff.
Lucky for you, I have this one.
And on the application, we will say.
It's a problem on my.
He's gonna double check that real close. Okay, the next one has to do with CNHPC service agreement. As I sent this out to you along with an email, I pointed out that what they are doing with other clientele is changing over to, rather than this variable billing and everything else, they said that they took a look at our bills from the past and they came up with, not just us, but everybody's bills, other clientele. And they estimated basically what it would cost for their services for the years to come. So that's what I sent all that stuff to you, the master service agreement to you. I had Lee do some digging and separate it all out. In 22 services, this is not hardware, software related. All this is services like when they've done remote service on our computers or they've come on site to do service repairs, upgrades, whatever. Materials that would still be completely separate from this agreement. So in 22, and we haven't finished out the year for bills and everything, as of a couple weeks ago, and I think I got the big number right there, it was $7,571 in 22. And that does not, one thing I want to point out, we haven't done our security training, which is an additional $750. Security policy documents are another $500, so we can submit them to the insurance company, so we get a break on our insurance policy. And then the search engine optimization, which is another $250. So that's a total of $1,500 right there, which will be included in this service contract. In 21, we really didn't do much of anything. We only spent $5,495. So it was on the shy side. In 2020, we spent $13,131 for service. So as you see, it does vary from year to year. So as I said, this would be a monthly fee that they are proposing to take care of service. That means that if we call them to have them come in here 5 times in 1 week, it's no extra charge. Or we take equipment over there to have work done, it's no additional charge whatsoever. It's a flat rate fee for as many times as we want to abuse them.
So I have some ideas and kind of questions. I know that I emailed out, and thank you, Sean and Lee, and Joe also responded and shared some really good insights on that. But one of the things that I was questioning, and I want to get into the security and the search engine mock. I don't think as a municipality, I don't think that that's something that specifically the search engine stuff is necessary. As a business, that's something that that we work on and do, outside. But as a municipality, I don't think that there's that same need. And then as the for the security and like cyber security stuff, I know that they were saying about the tax breaks and the benefits, but my question with that is, what will that tax break be? Will it pay for itself? Or how long will it take to pay for itself? And then the other with the having, the security, the other security stuff, I just am not sure about that right now. It's not something, I do think that it is something that we need to be looking at and considering, but right now I think that that's a pretty big expense for the town. And the other thing is that we have 14 computers, and I believe it's $50 a month per computer for their services. And one of the things that he said is that it's like a flat, all the computers that are in network, those are the ones that are covered. But like my computer, for example, I don't have access to any of the town documents for my computer other than what I get through email. And so I think that there's 4 computers right there that probably don't need to be on the system, and that we could see if Joe would be agreeable to do, the ones that are in office or that do have access to the file system and the server and everything there in the town are one group, and then everything else would be, paid hourly or as needed.
You don't have any less services than what we have when you're in the building here. Your computer links up to this server, and it is protected through the server that we have in here. But documents, the only documents I get for the town is what I pull off of our website. I don't have access to other people's file systems.
I don't have, on my computer, so I'm looking right now, and I do not have any network outside of my PC. So if I came into the town,
True.
I would not have access, and that's where
No,
I think
when you
that
come in the building, you should have that connectivity. If you're not getting it when you come into this building, then we need to take a look at it.
Wait, so when I come into the building, I should have access to the network and to the documents that are
The
saved in
only-
the network?
We do everything through the website. We get the same documents off the website that Gary Palmer gets from the website if he wanted to. We don't have a separate filing system where we have documents and so on.
Okay, so then I just need to go back then and look at Joe's response because, that's what he was saying, the reasoning that he was saying that it had to be an all or nothing deal. Hold on here.
And yes, we do have 13 computers and 10 users, of which we have to pay for our website, which is included in here. We have to pay for each user for the license, which is your email address.
Okay, hold on here. Okay, so we paid let's see here. So the estimate, Joe said that the estimate for 2023, labor would be 3,600. The Microsoft 365 would be 896. The website would be $248 plus a one-time $750 for the redesign. Sorry, hold on.
Gary, don't get upset.
Last.
Hold on. Sorry, gotta give me a second
While
here.
you're getting her calmed down, didn't last year we go through a situation where he came and presented to update our computers, to update the server, to update our website, to talk about training,
Yep.
and didn't we didn't we do that then?
We okayed everything except the training, the security training, the security policy documents, and the search engine optimization, which he's thrown in here and saying that before it would cost us above and beyond. Now it's going to be part of this set bill. We did not approve that part. He gave us estimates for different segments. And we did not approve that one at that time because it was felt we didn't really need that right then. It was too much money to be spending then.
Sorry, I'm good now. So what Joe said in his response to me was that, as for your question regarding the 13 times or the 13 computers, that he can't give specifics as they don't document, but he was saying, if there's a PC that we feel shouldn't have beyond the program, that, they can put it on its own separate network. And so I kind of feel like we can, because we don't have like a network, so it sounds like there is no network at the town as far as like, if I get on Maureen's computer, it's only going to be her files on that computer, right? She doesn't have
Correct.
access to any of the files on your computer, Sean,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Okay, so that means that there isn't a network in the town, like everyone has just their computer and then they back up their computer to the server.
Correct.
So there's not actually a network so it sounds like it actually wouldn't be a problem for us to say, you know what, these computers, aren't going to be, like, Sean, your computer, Maureen's computer, Lee's computer, the assessor's computer, you know, the Dale's and Shelley's computer. It seems like those ones would be wise to have support, so that if something happens, you guys can be up and running. And then maybe the computers that aren't used as frequently and that maybe wouldn't have the same demands or requirement, we hold off on those and separate those onto another account.
Yeah, we actually.
What do you mean that?
What she's saying is like put them on separate
Well,
servers.
I think she's referring to your 4 computers.
I am.
Okay. The total cost for it, and Joe's putting through right now for your shop. Local service agreement.
What he gave us is $950 a month. I multiplied that out times the 12 months and it came out to $11,400 for per year for the next 3 years.
That would include
I guess-
his time, but it wouldn't include our service.
Correct. Like if you need another battery, that we would have to pay for that battery, yes.
We need services whenever, then it's part of the service.
Correct.
Physically coming out here or to do maintenance.
It's like the last 2 board meetings we had, I was having problems with this booting up. I sent him a text, next thing I know, he's zipping around in here and he corrected it. No problem. Thank God tonight I had no problems. Yeah, I know.
Come back to the last 2 years, Sean, roughly what's the output getting for independent?
Yeah, I just had Lee work out just for service alone. Just service alone. And in so far for this year, I got a hole punched right in front of the 7, so I'm hoping it's just $7,571. For last year, it was $5,495. And then for 2021, it was $13,131. And this is just for service. And we
And I
still,
think if you add to the less than what's being proposed.
well, things fluctuate, yes. Things fluctuate. I mean, this last year we must have ran fairly smooth. I don't see how that was. I mean, in 21, because we were having all the problems. Everything was mix and match. And that's one reason why we broke down, got the new monitor, single monitor, and we got all the new mics and everything. So everything was married together and not just mishmashed.
So according to them, from last year, we should be
Isn't
in the clear now. Everything should be smooth running and we shouldn't have to have a big service problem.
Hopefully that. Said I've had issues here. Dale's having problems over there with his stuff all the time. That's why we budgeted for like 2 computers for 23 and I put in for 1 so that he gets a new laptop. His old laptop, he can't even get a battery for it. It has to be kept plugged in all the time. So that's going to be moved over for monitoring fuel consumption out of the tanks out there. And then that old file server is going to go to the county.
Yeah, anyway,
That's
and
hardware,
should get
but
everything back
but-
in line.
you still have to have people come on out, or he might be able to do it remotely, and marry his old laptop to the system along with, who's the company that has the software? Pumped. I'm not gonna say a thing.
Did Joe say if we didn't want to go to the service agreement and just do it on an individual basis, that he would still be open to that?
You'll probably be open to it at any time. I mean, it makes his billing system a lot simpler. That's for sure. But
I will say that he did share that there have been a lot of times that he has taken calls or done things quickly that he hasn't charged us for.
Yeah.
And that is something that if we aren't able to sign up for this, that's something that he will have to be more,
diligent. in
more on top
billing
of
us.
billing us for each call,
Yeah.
which makes sense.
No, and the new contract, is there a max number? No. Whatever it takes. Yep. I mean, like I said, we could do it 5 days a week for 52 weeks. It's a flat rate, period. Sure. Was it two?
I mean,
You said
we didn't
13.
budget this fit to this
Oh,
year,
you know
did we?
what? I'm sorry, Carrie. don't
Did
take into
we
effect
didn't
the two
budget
court
this in
computers.
for this year, did we?
That's not covered under this. There's 3 court computers. This one isn't considered a court computer. This is for town. And you got 2 in there. Those are the court ones that we don't talk. This is the only one other than the ones we have in our offices. And that's where we came up with the 13 computers. No. Don't have the iPad. We'll have to talk to Joe about that, yeah.
Do one for the month.
Yeah. Oh, okay, and that's where the extra is.
Well, so we can talk about that later, because I'm not
Yeah.
coming up with this.
Yeah, and there's where he's done service for us, where he's come in, like Maureen got the new computer laptop from the state for the court, for the judge's office, for the judge chambers, and he helped her and assisted with getting that set up and running as well, where the state wasn't very much help, if I remember right. So, and I don't know, I can't swear because I don't have the bills in front of me, but I don't think he really charged us anything or very little for that. They were in here for quite a while on that. In fact, a couple days,
So-
I think.
I
Go
guess that what I'm, like, one of the main things that I'm really hesitant about is just that the offsite backup, he said that he's been covering that we haven't been charged since he put the server in last year. And that he, was waiting to see if we decide to do this monthly plan or not, to bill us for that. And that's $360. And that I think is a wise investment. But the other one, the cybersecurity, unless we're gonna be getting that $2,400 back in insurance discounts, and then the server maintenance and workstation maintenance, those he's valued at $3,125 for the year for that. I guess that the server is brand new. I'm hoping that we don't have any $1,500 maintenance, and the workstation maintenance, that I just feel like, again, not all of the workstations need it. We haven't, on average, we end up ahead comparatively. And so I don't know if he would be willing to, talk about a municipal rate or something, or take our 4 laptops off and just do them on a separate account. But I just think that it's not a wise investment at this point in time. Not saying that it wouldn't be in the future, and I'm not saying that I don't appreciate the services that they have provided and what they've done for our town. I think that it is good, but we have to be, not just like say, oh, okay, we have to be fiscally responsible.
I agree, we gotta be fiscally responsible, but who knows, especially next year, what the values will be and how much more it might be then. I mean, the way prices keep going up on everything.
Right, but we also, I mean, we can't just say like, oh, well, because the prices might go up next year, then we don't know what's gonna happen, and maybe at that point in time, it may be wise to put out a bid, or to see, to have some healthy, say, okay, this is what we're looking for, and, I don't think that that's necessary. I think that we would be able to work with them. I think that they would understand, where we're coming from with our limited budget as well, and being responsible to the taxpayer. And just talking through this with them, and maybe come up with an alternative monthly agreement. I just think that the cost that they're proposing right now is too much.
David, how do you feel?
Some of the stuff is exaggerated few things here. The laptops. Gary said they knew it should.
George already had a battery go dead on him. But that
Well, he got the-
material,
Okay, so one of the things here is that you had in for your 950, included was the user license fee. That should be a yearly thing, so that would bring that down to 650. I think we need to kind of table this and get more of the information. If that's what I'm reading right here, see this?
it's $30 per user.
Was
And we have 10 users.
was that a year? So that's the license fee on web and it's yearly. It's not every month.
I think, Dad, he broke it out so it's monthly. That's for Outlook and for our email addresses. So I think that $30 is divided by, multiplied by that 12, and that's your annual. It's like $360 for the email address and the Outlook.
Yeah, he's got it here as $300. He shortchanged himself 16.
Okay, so
No, I'm saying that's the annual per user, because it's 12 months. So,
Yeah, so it's the 10 times of $30 is $300 per month, yes.
I think we've been below the service agreement for, on average, three years. I think if he wants a 3-year commitment, I think before we do that, we probably ought to, do due diligence and look and see what other, say, well, there is other firms out there.
I don't think getting away from CME is the idea,
Right.
because
I
they
agree.
are availability of them being so close. That's huge in today's tech world. I would maybe go back to them and say, okay, we spent less in the last X years. What is your rock bottom deal for? John, did he tell you this is it?
He did not tell me that. We didn't ask him, is this the best you can do?
Say, hey, look, want to go with it, but we got to be close to what we've been doing, roughly, even if you figure an X percentage for every year going off. This is just more than, it's better off just having you independently, unless you can give us super deal, the municipality special. I'm actually gonna see their guys tonight. Shop all. I can bring this up if you want, or Sean, if you want to do this directly.
Is Joe gonna be there tomorrow?
Steve is in.
Okay.
He's the other one.
Yes.
Say a thing, I won't. One little thing. Beat 'em up.
Why don't you talk to Steve tomorrow and I talk to Joe tomorrow?
Good. Who gets the better deal?
The, the impression that I got from his emails is that he is willing to talk with us about this and kind of figure out a plan. Like, I don't think that he's set in stone,
And
but I could be wrong.
Sean's right. They have a lot of stuff like behind the scenes portion that.
Yeah.
Definitely sticking to the local, with all the stuff seems to work, everything that they've done is correct. So you have a problem with that. I guess it'll forget out of Rochester, Buffalo, now we're.
You
well,
don't
we can't
know
be here for
when.
2 days or next
Yeah,
week. or-
Exactly.
And now we're like, well, now we're dead in the water. Tag team it up, Sean. no
Okay.
problem.
Okay, sounds good to me. So I'll table this till next board meeting. We didn't make a motion, it's officially tabled. Just move it to next month. Okay. Then. Moving on down, we have 2 applicants for town attorney. One of them is presently sitting with us. And then we have another person as well. I will be forwarding all that information out to you tomorrow. But meanwhile, we need to set up some dates and times for interviews. Last time we interviewed attorneys, last year, we did it on a Saturday. Any suggestions, ideas?
I have a
And we wouldn't be available the following Saturday.
And what?
She's not available.
We're booked the 14th, 22nd, and the 28th.
21st is Saturday, but you'll be out of town then. Where's your conference over there?
Florida.
Oh, you'd give that.
It's work.
Yeah,
Sure it is.
that's where you get your tax write-offs, I see. Okay, so in other words, you 2 will be unavailable for the next 3 Saturdays.
Right. I could do during the week of the
23rd?
23rd.
What's a good night then? Nope, she doesn't allow the church, so.
I would do 24th or the 26th.
I prefer the 24th, but I could make the 26th work.
If I get a second. I mean, we could also do the interview. I'm already.
24th.
Is it
That's the 24th.
24th, still 6? Wednesday's out, 26. How does everybody feel about the 26th?
What's wrong with that?
Association Municipalities meeting. You blood every time you walk in that building.
True enough.
What time on Thursday, the 26th? could we do it earlier? Like at like,
Well, once again, that comes
four?
down to when they're tied up, whether they're in court or they have meetings and whatnot. I'll have to confer with the two attorneys.
okay,
It would have to be probably later afternoon.
I just have family coming in from out of
Yeah.
state and they're only gonna be here for a brief,
Thought of that.
brief visit, so.
Okay,
They
back
get
to
here
the,
that
the
evening.
24th, and that sounds like it's a better time. I have no problem with 3 o'clock. I just don't know about others.
Tuesday at 3 works fine for me. Mondays and Wednesdays are the, I would need it to be later, but Tuesdays I can
Thursday
do.
is George's
earlier.
day off, which means the office is closed, and Carrie, you're not working.
He works on Thursday. 24th is it's good. I can do the afternoon.
When you say late afternoon. So 3:30, 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock would probably be a safe bet. Mhm. January 24. Start at 4. Okay, let me check with the other candidate and see if they're, how well that can fit into their schedule as well. That'd be ideal because you're on your way back from Buffalo. It's a little bit out of your way, but you like coming through Batavia, don't you? Okay, so January 24th, interview starting approximately 4 o'clock. I'll check with the other candidates, see if they're available. Okay? Questions? Good.
So. You're all.
Well, we are all gonna be. Dave second. All in favor? Opposed? So carried. Okay. My financials expenditures through December on average should equal 100% of the annual budget. Of course. You just got some of the bills for 22 that you approved today that still will be thrown back into the 22 budget. But at this time, the town has spent 94.93% of the annual budget, and the highway has spent 85.19% of the annual budget. Gail, question. Have you received all the funds from the state? Pave New York, bridges?
Does have. Actually, I think Lee probably. Since he asked me.
How were they compared to what you were guesstimating earlier in the year? Right on?
Yep.
Well, no, the state in the past has said, this is what you're gonna get.
No,
But they
didn't
have-
pull- They didn't pull.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, thank you. Okay, then, seeing how we're talking to you, we'll move right on to your report. There it is. Once again, I commend you and the guys for doing an awesome job at getting this place opened up during the blizzard. Question though, thinking about the blizzard. I don't know if the county has gotten the okay, that webinar that you and I sat in on, and I'm sure people from the county did as well, on getting funds to pay for some of the expenditures. Has Orleans County been identified, or is it still just Erie and Genesee County?
Well. But, a neighboring county meant the snow threshold. Depth. Of snow. That week is.
Good deal.
I was looking for an email from Justin Niederhofer today, but,
This is
Not
weekly
received it yet.
bulletin,
or,
just as weekly bulletin, weather bulletin.
yeah.
Okay. So let's,
So, I mean, our fingers are crossed.
so we can get some reimbursement
Yeah.
on the equipment.
Guys,
Excellent.
not,
And fuel, added fuel consumption.
I don't think something, I think it's within the rate of. equipment. I don't think fuel consumption. could be
That's
separated
okay.
out.
That equipment cost a pretty
Yeah.
penny.
That's what I need the fuel process.
Hey, we're getting something back. That's excellent.
Correct.
You wanted to discuss also, talk about trucks.
Yeah, I provided everybody with a little synopsis of situation with, I handed it up there.
Covered it up. Leave me alone.
So, in our 22 budget, the equipment contractual line was $174,000. If you want to follow along in the middle of the page, we spent 58,867 on the tractor, 7,011 on that trailer. And there was two more purchases that were planned on. 302 for the F-450. And that is ordered for 77,500. The truck 300, F-250. Our estimate was 38,000 and it came in at 49,500. So if you read the top of this letter, the dealer emailed me yesterday asking me for my confirmation of the order of the F-450, which I thought was already ordered. And they, Dave and I were talking earlier today, their communication is just not that good. So that has been ordered, that's been confirmed, but in that conversation, they told me that the F-250s are still available. So did some number crunching there, and if we get the value of the old 302 and the value of 300 combined somewhere around 55,000, we're still $36,000 ahead. Sean pointed out, we don't use 85%. I think we did pretty good, but did not expect this one to come up. I thought that the order bank was closed, I was told that the order bank was closed. Okay, so in case discuss it there.
Definitely not just in this account, it's, we'll try to buy it.
Yes. So in my, and I didn't put it in the letter here, but my view is if we don't stick to the schedule of replacing these vehicles, just keep kicking the can down the road, it's gonna cost us trouble. It's gonna cost us more.
Trading, it's not right. We're already ahead of schedule on what last year did. So.
The value of 302, we've already had a couple of farms in the area asking when does it sell. It's a utility body, 1 ton. They're handy.
So this was budgeted for. But we are now into 2023, so those funds were moved into the fund balance. Do we have to do a motion approving something that we had approved last year? For him to proceed this year?
So
Yes, that's why I'm not Bill. Motion was to approve Dale to purchase those two trucks. Yeah,
What the.
it's just that it's a carryover to the following year. That's my only question. Okay,
And what the budget doesn't show is the value of the old vehicles.
Right.
So, and that's where sell, they'll go back into the general fund.
and the value of, or the cost for used vehicles
Yeah,
is astronomical right now.
Plus the 15% that you saved from last year. So you got that also. So
yeah, I had
No.
informed the board that the order bank was closed.
Yep.
I said we would not purchase 300, but
My only concern was that that was all done in 22 and we're now in 23, so we don't have to do anything. Bless you, my son, go for it.
Feelings about it. Giving. Stated that he had to do it. It was not part of the resolution. that You had to do it, so it doesn't, it's separate from the financial years.
Okay. You got it. Any questions for Dale before we move on? Okay, next. Maureen, your report. Anything new and juicy to add to it? Same old, same old? Taxes. And they're pouring in, right? Water bills come out?
Yeah.
So those are pouring in as well.
But I don't know if they did the way it was.
well, we just,
It makes a lot more sense.
we put more checks and balances into the meter application process. So that when they come in, a resident comes in, they apply for a water meter. Maureen does her due diligence. It goes to the assessor to see if they are in ag district. In, see if there is actual drop there for that service.
Well, in
It's
a
just more
little,
checks and
a
balances.
little bit of a background, we came up with a form and wanted to put one line in. Everybody in the district that wanted to come in was coming in. It'd be a simple form. It was a straight, but there were no questions. So I'd fill out, or they would fill it out, they'd give it to me, I'd give them a meter. And of course, back then, everyone paid for it up front, so it was neat and tidy. Over the years, over the districts, it has changed. Some districts pay up front, some pay over time. That's the first question. And now that the districts have all been in for a while, not getting the ones that have been waiting for water, are all within that tight little district. They're all on the outskirts, or it's questionable, or it's new builds. Where, like, we had one on 31A, it's a brand new build. So then it was, well, if it was a farmer's field, and now it's gonna be a building, is it in an ag district? So because they're getting older, the established districts, they're not so cut and dry. There are a lot of more questions that come into play that never came into play before. So we've kind of revamped it, that they start with me. I look it up to make sure they're in the correct district, because everyone thinks they know what district they're in. I make sure they're in that right district. That tells us whether they pay now or pay over time. So that's one check on from there, well, the very first time we used this new form, it was determined it was the prospective buyer that was applying. They've not closed on real estate yet. So we stopped it right there because the real estate could fall through. And then you've got someone responsible for the installation of the meter and they don't own the property. So, it's a little bit different. I think it will help going forward because of the age of the districts. There's a lot more things like this. When it was new, yeah, you had the current owner coming in. Now you have, that district's been in 15 years and it's a new owner that's just getting excited and wanting to do things before he technically owns them. So after I fill out all the information like that, check that it is the current owner, then it goes to Shelley to determine, like the one on 31A, is it in a ag district? That has to be handled differently. And we went through that. If that's okay, most of the time it will not be. Then it goes to Dale. Dale checks out that they were given a drop, what we call service, when it went by the house. If it was a farmer's field, they've built there now, there's no drop, which means Dale Highway Department has to do more to hook it up. They have to install the drop. So it might be a few more steps for the residents because they come into me to apply, but they are not getting the meter at that time and they're not paying at that time. That form gets circulated around and then it's gonna be a phone call between Dale and that applicant to determine, yes, you're okay, or no, there's issues, and are they paying now or whatever. So, yeah, they might see it maybe as a little more, but we were having way too many questions and what ifs, things to be established. All meters are now out.
Ends them all.
Back to the water. And if they are one of the earlier districts where they have to pay for the meter up front, then they can see.
Okay. Questions? Anything else, Dale? Anything else, Maureen? Okay.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Well, I gave you the judges.
Yep.
And
Oh, well, I was gonna bring that up, but I know what you're gonna bring up. Go ahead.
every year, judge has to request that you look at those books. It's just an official thing instead of saying it's a good idea. The judge has to submit it. Let them see that, yes, we have asked for an audit of our books. Here is the letter that the judge signed so that we can get it to people that see it. So I would need a motion that you guys agree that the court records will be audited by one.
And in the past, it's always been one of the board members. Don't everybody jump at once, but
You appointed her last week.
so we need a motion that we will have Margaret do an audit of the court records. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. While we're still on this too, something else I want to bring up so that everybody knows, and that is on the 18th. Remember back a couple months ago, I brought it up and discussed it with everyone about us being so lucky as to have a jury trial here, and it got postponed. And it is coming back again January 18th, so get ready for some expenses there. Because you got a jury, meals, electric, heat. Who knows what else that's gonna be included in that nobody is willing to subsidize whatsoever. And it got thrown at us, and from what I understand, we might have more? No? Okay, good. We just get this one and we move on. Okay, so just to let you know, it's gonna be fun in here. That's on the 18th of this coming month. Okay. Stephanie, I told her I wanted to start seeing an assessor's report since we never were able to really get one before. And she was kind enough, and I put in everybody's mailbox, her report. And she does say January 22 at the top when it should be 23. But this is from last quarter. Over 200 agricultural exemption renewals were mailed out. They are due back to the office before March 1st. So if you received one, anybody that's listening, please get into her office and not wait till the last minute, where she'll get stampeded by all of those and trying to get through them. Progress continues on organizing the office. You take a look at our tote out here. She's got that filled to the brim. I gotta get that out tonight, tomorrow. With all old files that were from 1900s and so on that she had. I don't know what her exact title was, but she's Stephanie's mentor. She's also been for assessors. She's been one of the top dogs in the state for assessors on the committees, different positions she's held in the state. So she brought her in for a couple of hours to assist her with organizing the office and what things she could throw out, what things she definitely should not throw out. So they spent quite a bit of time in there, and like I said, as a result, that tote was packed to the top. A lot of old files that we no longer need, according to this mentor of Stephanie's. So she's getting it cleaned up in there. She's working hard on that. Her usual business hours for anybody is on Thursdays. She's in here on Thursdays, although this last week she was in here Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. She'll be mailing out data mailers in preparation of the future reassessment. These check inventory to make sure the parcel data is up to date. Recent sales report. In the last quarter, there were 6 homes sold. Their total assessed value was $1,003,500, but the total sale value was $1,565,000. So the average assessed value is $167,000 versus the average sale price of $260,000. So almost $100,000 more average. There are presently 5 homes on the market with a total assessed value of $512,000 and a total listing price of $900,000. So that's her report. Like I said, that was based on last quarter. You all have a copy of Shelley's for 2022, her report, which goes up to December 28th was the last application she had received. So you can see all the different applications and what they're for. for the whole year of 22. Planning Board. They had a meeting Monday night. And anything of interest here? That's on our agenda for our next workshop.
I've been working on a draft for that and have reached out to a few communities and the Association of Towns to see if anybody has additional resources for putting that together.
They worked on one and finished it in 2017. They said it will continue to start in March.
Okay.
The resolution was that it was a public opinion survey.
Discussion about the best survey that was done during COVID. After the vote. Because so many surveys go out and are not returned.
And we know that happens. I don't know how many times any kind of organization sends out with return envelopes and you're lucky if you get 10% returned.
That does that. And they go door to door and talk to you. That would be the best result we could get.
Which is what we did with the water district insofar as income survey. We had to pay for that. That was based just on income for that water district 10. Okay, but like I said, that's open for discussion at our next. Carrie, anything from zoning board? Okay. Dave, is the park committee met? Okay. You don't know of anything, do you, Dale? For utilities. Anything from you, please? Right. Mr. Ike, since we have you in our presence, anything from the county? It's easy. Okay, then. As you notice at the bottom there, our next workshop is February 8th at 6 p.m., followed by our town board meeting at 7 p.m. Both our workshop and town board meeting is now going to be on the same evening. Okay? So, let's have a motion to move into executive session. Doesn't have to be executive, just.
Then we'll make the motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Dave said it's second. Here now. Okay, I heard Carrie said aye. Anybody else? Okay, opposed? So be it. We're done. Thank you, everyone.